29.5 BHOK Eagle HT here at HaylettRV of Coldwater, Michigan. And if you've been in the RV business or around it or been a fan of for a long time, you're going to look at this layout and say, I've seen this before. Where have I seen this? Years ago, there was a thing called the 312 BH Wildcat. It was Wildcat's bestseller. Well, this is not like someone's going to say, oh, so Jayco's just copying somebody. No, not really. The guy who designed the 312 Bunkhouse Wildcat is now the Jayco Eagle designer. So he took what was his best design and brought it over here. But the 312, it always had these little hiccups and glitches, and he never had time to fully iron it out. And he finally took the time, like about a year and a half, to really work this thing out and got all the little floor plan hitches and giddy-ups out of it. And he's got this thing dialed in super, super well. Now, they're undoubtedly, we're going to have several of these in stock. Could be equipped in different ways, even if it's just fabric decor. So if you like everything in this except the pillows or something, first of all, don't have a heart attack over pillows. That stuff can be replaced. But secondly, we probably got one in stock with a different decor, maybe different option package. That's why I leave you folks a link down in the video description. It says check for price and availability. So you can look at price tags and links and weights and all that good stuff. Any specific specs you're looking for, we got right there. So what is it that kind of separates us? It's so many fine little details. Like we got our full hide-to-bed sleeper sofa here, which, I mean, you've got full 4 bunks in the back, which is nice. Usually outside kitchen rear bunkhouses don't get 4 bunks. This does. We've also got that easy access to the under dinette storage there. That's something that I like that Jayco does that most brands don't. You see that handy little slide-out tote right there? Well, there's a matching one under this side of the dinette here. I just didn't want everything to look cluttered and open and ugly. Little detail stuff too, like this, like every seating area, the lights right above it, there's a switch right next to you. That sounds dumb, but it's that little detail stuff that determines how much you enjoy a product over time. You'll also notice all overhead doors are self-strutted, so that you don't have to, like, you know, juggle them open. That also means they want to keep closed a little bit better, which is really nice to keep cargo from falling down in transit. The storage in this kitchen is awesome. You see, I don't even have those overhead cabinet doors open, but I don't know that you need to. You got this huge floor-to-ceiling pantry over there. We've got 4 traditional big drawers here with an additional, like, call it, I don't know, pots and pans door, and these are all full extension. They're all plywood constructed, and this is why, well, this isn't the reason, this is one of the many reasons why Jayco has the best warranty in the business. There is no one with a better warranty. We're standing on a 5/8 tongue groove plywood floor deck. Above us we have 5-inch roof rafters with a 3/8 tongue groove plywood roof deck. So everything, you know, is better, higher quality. Here's another thing. If you've got really big drawers, that means you have to have nice countertop space above it. Otherwise, you'd have nowhere for the drawers. And they made this just the perfect appliance and or charging station you can imagine over here. So the other thing is when you're standing like in the kitchen, your overhead stuff is very symmetrical. So it's I don't know, there's a beauty in the simplicity of symmetry, and that's actually a quality that all human beings like. So I think that they're real smart to include some of that. Now with the Peninsula style countertop here, they wasted none of the space below the sink. You want to put one of those giant waste baskets, or frankly, you could probably put 2 down here, knock yourself out, more than able. We've got all solid surface, true Corian countertops, which RVs in this category don't typically have Corian, and you'll see that we have stainless under sinks as well with matching counters. These can be fully resurfaced, and the pattern persists through the countertop. That's one of the nicer things about this. Moving back here, I love this rear bunkhouse. It's like not large, but it does not feel small. It's Bob Vila designed this thing. So right over here, I like the fact that we got little cargo pockets for the kids and little coat racks for the kids. Now, instead of having to throw the kids into the upper bunk, you have this storage stepwell right here. You have a staircase to heaven the kids aren't going to remember that, but mom and dad, you've got a stairway to heaven up here with all kinds of storage in it, and 1, 2, 3 bunks over here. Instead of a boring just cabinet down here, they went with a triple bunk because they had enough interior height. You can't do that in a trailer as easily. You can do it in a fifth wheel, no problem. While we're back here, I want to point out that we've got 50% thicker bunk mats in your Jaycos. Your kids are going to sleep better. Also, every kid has their own night light, and you've got power ports shared between the bunks. So there's 3 lights and 4 sets of power outlets for 3 bunks over here, and you'll see light and power outlets over here. Mom and Dad have a quick little switch to flip the bunk or the lights on to keep an eye on the kids. And there is a full swinging door here to kind of privatize this also. So just to give you a nice view of the living room the other direction, one thing I want to talk about is one thing you don't see, and that's the air conditioner. Instead, you have a whisper quiet AC. I've heard anywhere from 50 to 90%, so I'm going to kind of split the difference, I guess, and say it's 70% quieter than a standard air. I don't know. All I know is that it is significantly quieter than a traditional air conditioner. It just gives you great airflow. Also, you get superior airflow. It doesn't mean colder. It means it'll stay at temp more easily. And this is double ducted. There's actually an AC run on both sides. And you see that we've got the double banks of LED lighting in here. Very aggressive lighting package. Now, the entertainment center is deceptively deep and large. Usually you see entertainment centers and you figure it's like, I don't know, is that what, 3 or 4 inches deep, just enough to hide a flat screen? They put some very big, good storage in there. So if you need extra pantry space, you can. But if you're real sharp, you notice that there's some hanging hooks up there. Whoa, come on, camera, focus with me here. All kinds of Man, I'm having all sorts of technical difficulties today. Let's see if I can get this thing to work. Anyway, if you're real smart, there we go. You see that there's a couple hanging hooks in here. Sorry for the technical difficulties. You're like, but there's shelves. I can't hang stuff with shelves there. Well, you know, it's just that simple. These are removable. You can just pop that thing out if you need to. Electronics will be included. We simply store those when the RVs come in. But notice that this is on a nice swing arm, so that it can face right over at the slide out where all the seating is without giving you the neck cramps. All-in-one AM, FM, CD, DVD, Bluetooth player, and all the high-def wiring is actually run for you, so you don't have to try to deal with that aftermarket. Handy little remote control here is nice for a few things. One of the things that I've always looked at this and said, well, I imagine that's very, very useful for, like, if I'm setting up the RV alone and I want to make sure this slide out doesn't hit something out there, I can walk outside with the remote control, make sure it doesn't hit anything. But here's something else I realized. If I'm standing right here and I'm trying to run in the bedroom slide out, tell me how you can see it to make sure it's unobstructed. And the answer is you can't. But with this thing, you don't even have to go outside for this to be useful. You can walk over here, and I can stand here when I flip the lights on. Again, every room just has one switch for all the lights, which is really nice. But I can stand here to make sure, like, let's say I forgot, oh my gosh, that drawer was open, or that cabinet door is open. I can stand here to make sure that doesn't happen, and I don't break my brand new, beautiful Eagle fifth wheel. And it's this kind of detail stuff, guys. It's this detail stuff that separates this from so many other brands. Like, you walk in the door, always right by the door, there's one switch for all your main lights, right where it should be. All the stuff for, like, your water heaters and slide-outs are up here where the kids and grandkids can't get to them. They have a magnetic latch on this to keep it from flying open in transit. So many little details separate this from so many other things. Like up here in the bathroom. We walk in here. I want to point out the fact that we've got we've got all kinds of lighting in here. Like, let me back up. We've got a backlit morning mirror, so that if you're a zombie in the morning like me and you don't like direct light hitting you in the eye sockets, you don't have to. You can get around in the morning without anybody worrying about it. We've got our normal overhead cabin lighting, and we got that little guy. Not terribly impressive during the day, but at night, that one blue LED light will make this white shower glow. And what that's going to do is give you the perfect bathroom nightlight. Also, you see in here, we've got a full, it's funny, for a year, they tried to call it a spa shower. Now they just call it a radius shower. But we've got a clouded door, big fifth wheel radius shower in a mid-sized fifth wheel. And that's the thing with Eagle. This is who Eagle is. Eagle is a mid-sized fifth wheel with the high-profile luxury fifth wheel features. That's who Eagle is. Porcelain foot flush stool, by the way, and tons of room to get dressed in here. I can stretch my arms out, and unless I'm trying to do a windmill spin effect, I'm not going to hit anything with my arms. Here is an actual, just stroke of genius thing they did. They took the wardrobe, or pardon me, the linen cabinet here in the bathroom, there's storage, and they put it in the bedroom slide out. So they extended the bedroom slide about an extra 2 feet. That allowed two benefits. First of all, you got all your storage off the floor plan, which is why we have all this floor space. Secondly, it created the opportunity for a direct bed-to-bath entry door. So if you do have the kids, in the bunkhouse at night, you can leave this shut. Mom and Dad don't lose privacy, and everybody can come and go as required with the little nighttime bath light that we have up here. Also, we have a rainproof fan. You can leave this fan open and running in the rain. Water doesn't come in it. That's the whole point, and that's what this thing is made for. Another thing that you can't see or smell, and that's the whole point, is the new 360 siphon vent cap system they have on most of your Jaycos, and they're rolling that out to eventually be on all of them. I'm not going to get into the science of it, but long story short, they've created a new, like, people don't realize your black tank, your toilet holding tank, it has to have a chimney, like, exhaust up on top of the RV. There's actually a pipe that goes from underbelly to roof. They have a new style cap on that pulls additional airflow out so that you get, you basically don't get the odors in your RV. You don't get that backflow of odors. So, in theory, what they've told me is you don't even have to treat your black tank, and this thing will not smell. I don't know how comfortable I am with that. Personally, I think I would still treat my black tank if it were me. But, I don't know, if you're into some science stuff, maybe it's a, something you can try. So, I didn't flip them on, I should flip them on. Let me walk up here. You've got dual element reading lights. Tap once, we get our nice blue light, night light, just like I showed you in the bathroom. Hold it, and boom! We get the nice bright lights over here. And something they did I think is smart is they made all this radius work over here. I've had a lot of people say, when the wardrobes are open on the side of the bed, I always catch them with my shoulder. One, I think that's going to be hard to do here, but two, they made it so that you're not going to rip a chunk out of your arm. You've got all your, sleeping hookups for phone chargers and all that stuff over here with your normal side wardrobes. But remember that all of your main hanging storage is over here in this wardrobe slide out. This is just pure storage. But the problem with most wardrobe slides is you lose the window for cross breeze. Well, remember this guy who designed this RV is pretty darn sharp. He goes, well, what if we just put a window in the wardrobe slide like nobody else does? Because that gives us an extra dresser drawer and we can still have hanging storage over here. This fellow's pretty smart, I'm telling you. TV hookups up here in the bedroom. If you're so inclined, you can throw them against the wall. And again, I like that there's light switches in very logical places. That sounds like, why are you wasting time talking about that? Because a lot of brands don't do that. A lot of brands I've seen have the bedroom light switch all the way up here. It's not convenient. It doesn't make sense, It might make sense for the one time you lay down, but the other 8 or 9 times you're in and out of your bedroom all day, it doesn't make sense. This makes the most sense, I guess. So, there's a lot more to learn about this. I've barely touched the surface of this thing. If you guys like to know more, definitely, either click through to our website to verify exactly what we have in stock, or God forbid, you give us a call and you speak with a living, breathing human being. We do hitches, pieces, parts, trades, financing, and everything in between, so take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping. New 29.5 bunkhouse outside kitchen at 8,840 pounds, Eagle HT by Jayco, here at HaylettRV of Coldwater, Michigan, on a sunny, tropical summer day. A portion of that may be less than accurate. Regardless, this exterior tour is going to be a little bit more brief than I normally put together. My hope is that in springtime, when we have the sun shining, we'll be able to go through and do this thing its proper justice. So I'm just going to hit on some high points here. Like the fact that we have the best warranty in the business. Jayco's 2-year bumper to hitch warranty, the first-year roadside assistance, is surpassed by none. There is no such thing as this fictitious 3-year warranty out there that someone wants you to believe. It's garbage. It's not true. Look into the details of it. You'll see. How do they have a better warranty? It's better structure, better fit and finish, better materials. It's also craftsmanship, obviously, goes into it, because it's not necessarily the playbook so much as it is the execution, if you follow me. So you see, we've got all kinds of room over here. And what I like is they allowed you to put several batteries up front with a handy little, tool utility shelf above that. Also, you might see the switch inside there. It just makes it easier to get to some things, I believe, like your nose cap lights and whatnot. This has aluminum structure, laminated walls. We do have a wood constructed roof. There's nothing wrong with that. If you look at old brands like Glendale, they were a Canadian built brand. They specifically built wood truss roofing with a heavy duty plywood roof deck, exactly like this, by the way, because it could handle the weight of a big snowpack, which, as you can see, is a real concern in some areas of the country. And if you live where that's not a concern, maybe this is less important to you. I don't know. But I like the fact that structurally, this thing is sound as a pound, brother. Laminated slide walls. Pardon the fun little mittens. I have to have little mitten gloves to be able to, operate the camera buttons here. So this is one of those secret tricks for how I do this stuff. But all laminated, all structural, all insulated. If an RV doesn't have laminated slide walls, doesn't mean it's bad, just means that it could be. When they have laminated slide walls like this, I know that it's not bad. I know that it's super good. I know that it's sound. We have a fully insulated, forced air heated, enclosed underbelly, extra insulation in the slides and roof. And so, for weather like this, an Eagle HT is actually going to be one of the very best rated in its class. This is another best in class thing. Really matched by nobody. There's one or two models by specific manufacturers I've seen with a factory installed towing hitch, which is not an accessory hitch. This is an actual towing hitch. Eagle HT does this across the board. Eagle HT has a best in class 3,000 pound rated towing hitch with a 300 pound tongue limit. Actually, what's funny is that actually has the best tow rating and hitch rating of any Jayco fifth wheel. And you think, why does their smallest fifth wheel have the best hitch rating? It's because it's their smallest fifth wheel. The big 40+ foot fifth wheels, you can't really put a towing hitch on the back because you run into length restrictions, whereas the Eagle HT still stands a chance of coming in under that. This is a fully redesigned outside kitchen. It is not what I call the Olympic swimmer kitchen. What that means is, imagine an Olympic swimmer, they put their hands together and their hands are up by their chest like they're getting ready to dive into a pool. That's how most outside kitchens are. Let me stand next to this thing so you get an idea. And moving the camera around to cut myself off. Anyway, here we go. So you can see standing next to this, it's at normal waist height. This is exactly how outside kitchens are supposed to be. This is how kitchens are supposed to be. This can be a little more kid-friendly too. So you don't necessarily have to be super tall to try to get in this thing. You see, we still have outside TV hookups, the big fridge, the overhead cabinets, everything is here. They just found a way to build this lower. But what's nice is they did it without sacrificing your plumbing. So this actually does have a drain. It doesn't just drain, onto the ground. I've actually seen some outside kitchens that do that. But you never realize that until you take it home. Here's another nice thing. This is something you don't think about, but the EqualFlex CRE 3000 suspension. This has 3 inches of vertical shock dampening. So this works with your suspension to help absorb those shocks and jolts going down the road, so that you have a smoother tow experience. The aluminum steps are doing a good job today of keeping you from sliding around, but even when your shoes are wet, like when you camp in the morning, your shoes are wet, it's nice to not have to slip and slide on your black steel steps coming in and out. And notice too the detail stuff of like where the speakers are in this Eagle HT. They're way down low where they're easy to get to. I'm going to cut this short and rejoin you back inside. So thank you very much, folks. Take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.